Hey guys, this is Orsi. This is going to be my 1 month with the Antik Anatómia, the Hungarian version tarot, which was, May already. I can't believe it, like a 5th month is gone from this year. This is the box, just quickly showing it. It's another magnetic one, I keep forgetting, I don't know why. I should have opened it before starting the recording, but no. So the box is really good quality. I don't know how the English is, but look at those patterns and just everything. It is pretty. I put it on top of one of my shelves because it's decorative. I kept a few boxes of tarot decks that I keep there. So it's one of those that you can just put on your shelf and be like, I have a tarot deck. Obviously, this is the Hungarian one, but I'm assuming, it's just translation, so there shouldn't be any real actual difference between the English and this one. Before I start about the cards, let's just get some quick notes on the guidebook. Or, you know what? No, I'm gonna just tell you my overall experience in a few sentences, and then if you're interested, you can watch it. If you're not, you don't have to. So all in all, it was a positive one, but I still realized that because this is a pip deck, I'm not working with it as deeply maybe as one can who is more into pip decks. So that's just the gist, but it was overall a positive one. So about the guidebook. You're probably not gonna be understand a lot if you're not Hungarian, but I haven't seen the original one, but I'm assuming that it looks exactly like the same. The quality is amazing. I like the paper, the colors, everything is colored, so the printing is beautiful. If you like the aesthetic of the deck, you will like the aesthetic of the guidebook. That's one thing. The second one is that I like this deck as a beginner's tarot deck. I should really make an updated one on that topic because I have now a few other decks that I think that would be great for people who are just starting with tarot, and this one is definitely one of them. Fortunately for me, the element association with this deck is this exact same how I read tarot and elements, because elements are in the cards are very, very important for me. The minor arcana is all about elements for me. It's not about numerology, which deck is more about, I would say, which you can get, like a neat little table that which number corresponds to what energy. And there are other like connections, how do you say those, like card pairings that you can use. There's also some basic astrology in it, which I think is very useful, and then the elements, then the colors, how to use the tarot, and some spreads. Now this one is the one that I'm interested in trying, but haven't had the mental capacity, Why is it so hard? It sounds like a capacity, like a capital city of some foreign land. I don't know. It could be just that it's too early for me. But this is a moon cycle spread, and you're supposed to pull a card for each of the changing moon cycles. And I'm thinking that this is gonna be a good way to. I still haven't given up on getting more in touch with the moon, getting more in cycle with the moon. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna try this one starting from the next new moon, which is, let me check. When is it? Because I have my new moon diary next to me, so I can actually check it. If I can quickly flip through. What's the full moon? New moon should be on the 18th of June. So I'm assuming I just missed the previous one, like recently. But I'm thinking about, even though I'm going to switch to another deck, obviously, for next month, which I'm thinking about is gonna be the Dungeons and Dragons, by the way, because now I have the updated version. that I will use this deck and do the whole moon cycle spread, because it's good for, I mean, it's supposed to be good for keeping track of a bigger goal and using the cards to help you and guide you through that, you know, like reaching and working for something longer term or bigger, and using these energies. So I'm definitely thinking about it because I have things that I want more clarity on. So this is a very good spread. I mean, it looks like, but I think I will do just, you know, separate video later on. And then we have the Celtic Cross, and then we go into the Major Arcana. This is where, you know, like you get prettier pictures, but if you check what you get with the minors text-wise, it's not a lot more that you get there. The paragraph is pretty much the same. I like that there are keywords, numerological, astrological, and elemental correspondence, and what's the card pairing for it. So it's very good. For the minor ones, you just get the description and then keywords. But for example, for the court cards, you get it as a person and you get it as a situation, which I think is very useful, because I think the biggest thing with court cards is how to learn what these cards can mean as a person, and how to learn what they can mean as an event, as a situation. Sometimes that's the hardest part, to distinguish that if the card shows up as a person or as an event. I think it, you know, it comes with practice, but it's a good start. So overall, I do think that this is a really well-written book. The translation was good as well, which was nice. So yeah, like I said, if you're just starting with tarot, I think this one is something that I would recommend if you like the artwork, and especially for one reason, which I'm not really connecting with the deck, but I think a newbie would find this deck less overwhelming, and that is, you know, the minor cards. When I pulled cards for each day and I got a minor card, I mostly went with what I know the card actually meant, as in, for example, this is the Five of Pentacles. I was like, okay, what the Five of Pentacles means, and then I went with pretty much the textbook version. I'm not saying there's not anything here that you can get intuitive hits on. I'm, you know, like, sure people will get that, but for me it was just like a pretty aesthetic, but I didn't get anything, like, at least not a lot intuitively, like nothing with the Two of Cups, like the difference. Yeah, it's two different colored cups, but they are both bottles. But I wasn't really stopping and thinking, because I wasn't drawn into doing that. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think for a newbie, it's a good thing, because you're gonna concentrate on learning the basics, because I do think that how you learn tarot is you learn the basic meanings and then you can expand on it. It's a system. I think you should be aware of the basics if you want to use it, but, you know, just my opinion. But for example, Eight of Pentacles with the different organs, it doesn't give me Eight of Pentacles feeling. Like, if I want to, I can start adding to it, like heart needs to beat all the time, and, you know, it needs to do it continuously for you to be able to live. The pelvis bone is something that we all like use to stable ourselves, our skeleton. Like the skull protects the brain, and the lungs is something that, you know, needed to draw breath. These are all things that you have to have working on, or working to be able to be alive, but all of these cards have that. So I don't see a lot of symbology that way, as in I can't draw intuitive hits with them, especially with pages, because these are, you know, like children's skeletons, which I think it's a good choice for the card, but The most of the time that I got something extra were where something like this card, where the muscles were like highlighted in a part of a body, like this is the largest muscle group you need, this is what you use to stabilize yourself. And if it's, you know, like really big, then you can walk and stand and crawl and jump and whatever stably, and you need your lungs for that as well. And I don't know, you know, like I can make up things with those cards, but something like Two of Swords is just two crossed knives for me. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying that for me, there were no intuitive hits. I really do appreciate the aesthetic of the deck, but this is not going to be something that I will reach for all the time, because I'm getting a close relationship with it. I'm going to use it when I want to do a reading for Hungarian people, I think, who might be into this aesthetic. I really do love the colors, like these yellows and purples are beautiful. The flowers are beautiful, the quality is beautiful. The cardstock actually is really nice. I was so surprised, but it's really, really nice. But like, okay, sun, but I go with what I know about the sun. Okay, this is more of a typical hermit. But other than that, like I said, I wasn't pulling intuitive hits with this deck, which is not necessarily a problem. Not every, you know, like deck has to work like that. And I know that some people will get those. It's just not me. And that was a good thing to, you know, play around with the deck for a month and find out. I almost said something else. But I do really do think that this is a good deck for you know, someone who starts with tarot. I haven't really used an oracle with this one. Sorry, this month, so no pairings at this moment. I will play with it later, probably at some point when I want to do, maybe not this year, but next year. I want to do a month where I will, or two, where I play around with pairs. I want to test out all the decks that I keep, because I decluttered my collection, like I think it's half what I used to have. So I'm sure that, you know, this deck is going to come back out because I'm keeping it. What was interesting with this deck compared to the previous one is that I got a lot more 2 cards for my daily pulls than the previous ones. I didn't check how often, but at least I think 7 out of a week, there was at least 3 times when there were just more than 1 card, which I found interesting, because usually I just get 1, and then there was the rare occasion when I had 2 cards with the previous pool. So it's interesting that this deck, for some reason, wanted to play in a way where there were multiple cards, and that's just, you know, like a personal thing for me. But yeah, I think this is all for this month. I do think that this is a great beginner's deck. If you're thinking about going down the more numerological route, I think this is a good step into that direction if you're coming from the RWS system. If you're coming from Marseille, I don't know how you read with this deck. Please do let me know if you like it, if you're a Marseille reader or you see potential in it. Or for you, you know, it's just a pip deck, so it's not Marseille enough, because I know that, you know, the configurations are not necessarily how it is in Marseille, but maybe someone who reads Marseille can look at these cards and see if they can see a connection or a possibility with this deck. But yeah, I think this is all. I cannot believe that, you know, we're already done with another month, and like I said, this is going to be the next ones. Okay, hope this was useful. Please like, comment, subscribe, do everything that, you know, YouTube requires us to do, because that is actually really helpful for everybody, not just my channel, for every channel. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Hope this was useful. See you in the next one. Bye.